Well, 29 people sailed out on the Daniel J. Morrell on November 26, 1966, but only one person returned home. Dennis Hale lived through that tragic day and is now sharing his story. On a snowy, cold November night, the Daniel J. Morrell sank on Lake Huron, 18 miles northeast of the Thumb. The 603-foot vintage ship broke in half during a 65-mile-per-hour storm.
I was in bed sleeping, and I heard this loud bang, and in my slumber I thought it was the anchor against the bow. So I rolled over to my right side, and then there was another loud bang, and about that time the general alarm sounded, and I jumped out of bed and I reached overhead. All I had on was undershorts, and I reached overhead and grabbed a life jacket and put on, and opened the door to the companionway that led to the main deck. When I got out there, couldn't see the rear of the ship.
Out of a crew of 29, only 4 members made it to a lifeboat.
All I had on was a life jacket and a pair of undershorts, so I went back to my room looking for more clothing, and all I could find was a pea coat, and I put that on over my life jacket and went out and climbed on the raft, waiting for the bow section to sink.
Dennis Hale, though, was the only survivor. The other 3 crew members froze to death within 14 hours. Hale was out in the water for an additional 24 hours, covered in ice before the Coast Guards arrived. Hale struggled for many years, wondering why he was the only one that survived on that dark day.
Well, you know, for a long time it was really bad. It's just, I couldn't understand how I managed to make it, and I really felt bad because of it. And then in talking to some of the widows, they were kind of angry at me for making it because I made it and their husbands didn't.
It took 24 years for Hale to talk about what happened. After getting some help and being able to cope with the accident, Hale was able to share his story and write a book.
And that's all I've been doing is my book now, but it does keep me busy.
His book, Shipwrecked, has been out for 2 years and has sold over 7,000 copies. Now retired, he travels around the country doing public speaking and sharing his survival story. For WBKB News, I'm Marlena Hamilton.